Shore. It moved off the East Coast yesterday after dumping a few inches of rain in parts of North Carolina.
Meteorologist Drew Anderson is back with a look at why tropical storms and hurricanes frequently make a turn out to sea. Drew, good morning.
Good morning, and that's what we want to hear, them going out to sea. So here's the remnants of Tropical Storm Claudette, a couple hundred miles off the Jersey Shore right there. And yesterday, it did this as it left the Carolina coast, did a little curve to the right. So let's talk about why that happened. There was two reasons. First, it has to do with this right there. Not so much the storms, actually. Instead, you know what it actually has to do with? What caused the storms? That would be a cold front. That cold front is really what got things going in the evening, causing all that lightning. It just serves as a focal point to really get the air to rise, and that's your ingredient for thunderstorms. But more importantly, for this right here, it helps to push this off the coast. And we see this a lot. When we have cold fronts near the East Coast, tropical storms and hurricanes get pushed away from us. So we like that. By the way, those arrows on a cold front, they point to where that cold front is heading, which just means the cooler air behind it is on the way. And Kelly's been telling you, we got some nicer days ahead a little later this week. So let's talk about some tracks of hurricanes. Kind of an overload right there, right? But most of these lines are like this. So most hurricanes and tropical storms have done that over the last 70 years. This is all the Atlantic hurricanes over the last 70 years. Thankfully, we don't get a whole lot to come inland. And the reason they do that track, this is surprising. It's the spin of the earth. They're so big that that spin of the earth kind of does that to them. And so it leads to a lot of them moving off the coast. Pretty much the time of the year that we see most of them and we have our best shots getting them right here at home, that'd be late August and early September. And the reason for that is the ocean temperature. See, water takes a long time to warm up and cool down. And if you made pasta recently, you know what I'm talking about. It takes forever if you're hungry, right, for that water to boil. So here's the ocean water, and what's really important for tropical storms and hurricane is the temperature of that ocean water. Right now it's 80 degrees off the coast of the Carolinas, and you need 80 degrees to sustain or grow a tropical storm or hurricane. Once it gets past that and into water that's cooler, like right here off the Jersey Shore, 68 degrees, a little too cold for me to go on the beach right now, they die out. So the second it gets past 80-degree water, that is it. As for this morning, it still feels a little tropical here at home when you step outside. And I want to give you a tip. So when I was driving in this morning, because of all that humidity, man, my window just kept fogging up. And here's what you do if you have a foggy window, and this one's going to surprise you. Put the heat on. I know, counterintuitive. You don't want to put the heat on a humid, warm morning like we had today, but swing over the heat. It'll get rid of all that dew, that fog on your window, like that. Here's the reason why. Your windshield is much cooler than the air outside. It's actually the same reason when you take a shower in the morning, you walk out, your mirror's all foggy. Glass doesn't really hold on to heat very well, so it's always much cooler than the air around it. That leads to the air in front of it getting cooled down. You cool that air enough, boom, you got yourself some fog on the windshield. So what do you do to take that back? You make the windshield, you make that hot, and it just gets rid of it like that. That's your little tip for me this morning. And that is a look at what's happening with the tropics. Now, I will tell you, one of the models was hinting at something next week forming, but we'll keep an eye on it here in the 69 News Weather Center.
Okay. We got to keep them. I know you said that we can still feel the impacts at the beach, but we got to keep those storms away. Yeah,
that's a great point. So even though it's a couple hundred miles off the coast, it can still cause rip currents, and you got to be so careful. I've actually been caught in one of them. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. So dangerous. What you have to do is you have to swim parallel to the beach. These rip currents, if you're not familiar, it's like a weak current, but it gets stronger and it just pulls you out. And like when you fight it, you can't go anywhere. I actually ended up getting rescued.
Oh my gosh,
so don't mess around when you hear about rip currents down the shore, okay?
Yep. I like the beach, but you can find me in a pool. Yeah. Not the ocean.
Thankfully for us, there's only a couple times of the year where we see cases like that. And one of them is when tropical storms and hurricanes are moving up the coast.
All right. Well, keep us informed, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.